Welcome to SplunkTalk, a Splunk podcast that's all Splunk and no junk. I am your host, Hal, and he is...
I'm Birch? Wait. You can't do that to me.
We're getting to the end of the day. I'm getting loopy, man. Right. We've got two very special guests here, Kara Gillis and Martin Weiser. And before we get into them and our topic of service intelligence for SAP and IT essentials and all the other fun things, Hal, how are you holding up?
I'm doing pretty well. I had a goal. Like, I was going to watch sessions.
Goal.
I did not meet that goal.
No.
I mean, you all know what it's like to be in Vegas and do the, 18-hour days or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's insane. I thought this was going to be relatively laid back, and it is. I mean, it is, relatively speaking.
Some of us are in pajama pants. That's how laid back it is.
I did not ask that. And
you didn't have to.
It's going great. But I didn't take in any sessions. I mean, I watched the first couple of keynotes, like everybody else before any of the breakout sessions, but I have not. I went upstairs and I vegged and I sat next to my wife and just hung out.
Oh, you brought your wife to conf this year. Very cool.
Yep. See,
I've made a little more progress on my bingo.
Nice.
Yes.
With bingo.
If you go to our Twitter account, sometime I think yesterday, they posted a media package with a coloring book, bingo, and what I've laminated is the drink recipes, the cocktails and mocktails.
Wonderful. I'm going to check that out.
Yes, everyone should. Made a little more progress on that. Got to catch some sessions, got to do a session, very cool experience. And now I'm here with you beautiful people. So let's hop into it.
All right. Awesome. So let's first start with Kara. You're on the left. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I like long walks on the beach. No, I'm just kidding. I've been at Splunk about 4.5 years. I'm a director of product management. I focus on our IT apps portfolio. I love Splunk. What other stuff? I live in San Francisco, so I was here when the orange sky was what I woke up to in the midst of fire season, which was terrifying. And I don't know, I worked with all three of you pretty closely and happy to be here.
Have you always been in product management at Splunk?
I haven't. No, I started off in product marketing. I did a tour of duty in product marketing, I should say. It was about 3 years doing that. And before that, Birch, did I really have a life before Splunk? Is there life before Splunk? I don't know.
No.
That's why I didn't even
only if you're a customer of Splunk. That's the only life that matters, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, before Splunk, I was a strategy consultant for a really long time. And when I came out of that, I was like, well, what am I going to do? And when I went to business school, I got really interested in tech. And so I tried out internships in both product management and product marketing. So I knew I wanted to be close to product. I just didn't know what side I wanted to be on. And I was able to do both here. So that's been really fun.
I like doing that. I like jumping around at a company and understanding, kind of the edges, and each job has a different mission. And
absolutely.
It's cool that you were able to kind of explore those. Awesome. Well, welcome. Martin, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Martin Weiser. I live in Colorado, as you can tell, based on my Rocky Mountain accent.
Yep.
So,
and do you also not like long walks on the beach?
Well, there's not a lot of beaches around here, so. But I do like, I guess, long walks, like cross-country skiing maybe, or mountain biking. So that'll work. And I'm in field product management. And in that role, we build a lot of field solutions. And, it's a fun job because it allows us to prototype a lot of stuff without really having to see it all the way through. So it's definitely a fun gig.
And this is actually, you've done the same job the whole time you've been at Splunk, essentially. I know the title changed a little bit.
Yeah, you make it sound like that's a negative thing. Like it's a pretty cool role, actually.
I mean, that was before you and I were on the same team. My previous title was a lot of the similar responsibilities, it was called a solution architect at that time, and then the specialist.
Yeah, IT ops practitioner.
Practitioner.
Yeah, there were a lot of different titles, very similar roles. But at the end of the day, it helps us get product out, test it with the customers, work on super interesting use cases, also get to pick, the more challenging problems. So I never have to worry about, is the props.conf right, or the transforms or whatever. So I don't have to worry about the lower level details. I can focus on, is this something that I'm interested in solving? So it's definitely, it's an interesting role.
You don't have to finish anything. You really
exactly
to toss it off to other people.
Yeah.
And you two are still friends despite this.
We are.
So Martin, do you hand off a lot of half-baked things to Kara? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say it's half-baked, right? So
okay, so a quarter-baked?
Yeah.
I just don't have the same process rigor that, Kara's team has. So if it passes like a optimistic unit test, it's good enough for me. While as Kara has to test it, from all different angles, making sure it's secure, making sure it doesn't break under any conditions. For me, it's like more of a best case scenario testing.
But when you give it to us, it's in pretty good shape, I'd have to say.
Oh, you're kind.
So Kara, how much work is involved after the concept is proven out, after, he's got a successful smoke test and just a little bit more?
And remember, your boss is watching, so make it sound like it's a lot of work.
That's a good question. I think it just depends on what it is. If it's a feature versus like an entire new product or new app, for example, I think a feature, maybe like a quarter's worth of work. Sometimes it just depends. I can't say one answer, but in a more recent example, probably like a quarter's worth of work, which is typically how we plan our development cycles. And so there's a lot of testing, a lot of, as you said, security, and just making sure that there aren't bugs, which is what we call hardening, to make sure that it's battle tested and ready to go for our customers to use.
Awesome. So why don't you tell us about and not everybody may have made it to the IT Super session. You want to kind of start there with some of the highlights, and we'll kind of dig into some of the details. I know we've got a couple different paths we can go down with the two of you as well.
And by the way, thank you, Ben. On average, I do 1 to 99% of the work. Yes, I'm very specific.
You never do zero. You never do 0 or 100%.
True. It's a team effort always. The highlights I'd say are that we're really excited about how much closer we're getting to the observability suite of portfolio products. Namely, our first major integration is the Splunk Infrastructure Monitoring add-on, which brings events and metrics from Splunk Infrastructure Monitoring into core Splunk, so that you can have both your logs and metrics and events all within your passive troubleshooting dashboards that you've already built. We are continually building on that integration, so there's definitely more to come between those two platforms as we continue to more tightly integrate. But alongside that add-on, we actually also have a content pack in IT Service Intelligence that has a lot of service templates and KPI templates that accelerate how you can use the data from Splunk Infrastructure Monitoring to end-to-end service monitoring and event analytics. So that's one thing. The second thing is IT Essentials. We talked about in the super session, which is really a complement to Splunk Security Essentials, which was a field, so similar to what Martin did by taking stuff from the field, and that becomes a product. A lot of customers have used Splunk Security Essentials to learn how to use Splunk for security, and so we wanted a companion app to that. And what we've done is we worked with some of our best sales engineers and best practitioners to curate about 50, I think there's like around 50 searches across a variety of use cases that are common for our customers using Splunk for IT ops use cases. And we're basically teaching them how to use Splunk for IT. And it's now in beta. And so you can go to splunk.com/ITE to sign up for the beta. And we're going to get a lot of feedback on that before we make it generally available, so that it's something that's really helpful to customers of all sizes to onboard new customers, or just maybe learn stuff that you might not have known that Splunk could do. Then the last one, I'm actually going to hand off to Martin because he worked on it so much. Intelligence for SAP Solutions is a content pack. It's specifically for joint customers with SAP, which is a lot of customers. I mean, using SAP for to power a bunch of their business services. I'll let maybe you talk about that.
Yeah, go for it, and then we'll come back to you, Kara, for digging in it. Like I said, we'll go back.
Because who wants to hear from Martin? We're just going to keep going back to Kara.
Sure, absolutely. So basically, SAP has a ton of customers, but the thing that I didn't know is when you're a SAP customer, you don't necessarily have one instance of SAP. The larger customers that we deal with in the beta program and in the early adoption phase, some of them have 150, 200 production instances of SAP. So just logging into the right...
Literally 150 or 200 instances?
Yeah. So just logging into the right instance is kind of a challenge, right? Like if you put your product into, the one that has the accounting rules for Asia Pacific rather than the one for EMEA, obviously you're messing that whole thing up right from the beginning. But yeah, different accounting rules, different acquisitions, different, regulatory requirements. So all kinds of different reasons. So it's really hard to manage that entire environment. And, ITSI really helps out monitoring and bringing visibility into all the different aspects of any service. But what SAP is really good at is we use what is called Power Connect to unlock SAP, to get the data out of the SAP environment, send it to Splunk. And SAP, just like mainframes, can self-describe itself. So it can say, hey, I'm running on this particular database, or I'm running with these particular components. So we dynamically build out, the services, the service tree, everything that is associated. So it's specific to that instance. And then because the instances are so different, from a use case perspective, some may be used for ERP, some may be used for CRM, some may be used, in different regions with more users.
For other acronyms. Yeah.
Yeah. Think of...
Does anybody know what SAP stands for?
Yeah.
Quick, go.
S is Spanish application processing.
Failed.
It's a German company. So.
I know it's a German company, SAP AG. That's all I know. But that's not important.
Anyway, Martin, you were saying something. You were on the legit part.
To a lot of businesses, and it's complicated to get.
Oh, I found it, guys. Systems, applications, and products and data processing. I believe that's what the full name is. Oh, sorry.
Right. Way to Google.
See,
I know, right?
Didn't know that either. So definitely learned something.
Everybody's learning something new today.
Compliments to Jeeves.
Did you ask Jeeves, actually?
Did you know that Laura Snow, who is one of the best technical marketers I've ever worked with, used to work at Ask Jeeves? Shout out to you, Laura.
I did not know.
We'll have to ask Laura about Ask Jeeves. Martin, you were saying something more interesting?
Well, I'm not sure if it's more interesting, but at the same time, if you have that many instances, setting thresholds and all that stuff is like super complicated, right? Because you have that many systems, you don't necessarily know as an administrator, like, is this a widely used system? Is this a system that barely has any users? So we put in a lot of machine learning, a lot of those, concepts that are widely used in ITSI to help a lot with the administration. So it has been a really good experience on both ends, right? On the one hand, SAP, the content pack gets a lot of the benefits, but on the other hand, we found some shortcomings in the ITSI machine learning capabilities, which then got incorporated into the most recent release. So there's definitely both sides that learn from that.
So
if someone, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. We've dropped a number of cool offerings. We've got, see, Martin thinks I'm going to make a joke already. We dropped we got
dropping the kids off at the pool.
No, none of that crap. We're talking about IT Essentials, the Surface Intelligence for SAP Solutions. I think Kara mentioned another content pack
infrastructure monitoring add-on and content pack for ITSI.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Where can we get all these? So we talked about IT Essentials. We put the URL in there, splunk.com.
And some are free and some are products.
Right. And I think, yeah, where can we get them all?
No, that's a horrible question. Hold on. Wait a second.
Go ahead.
Let me back that up for a second.
Yeah.
IT Essentials will be a free app. Is that correct? For enterprise.
It will be. It is currently in beta. So you can sign up for the beta in the chat or in the comments, I believe. Put that. The Splunk infrastructure monitoring add-on you can get on Splunk Base today.
Okay, awesome.
To unify the two products. And the content pack, I believe, is hosted on Docs for Splunk infrastructure monitoring. And then for the SAP Solutions content pack, Martin.
Yep, you'll also get that on Splunk Base. So basically, you get most of it on Splunk Base, all of the components that Kara mentioned. The SAP solution is currently in what's called limited availability release. So it's not available necessarily to everyone to play around with that. But if you talk to your sales rep, there's definitely a potential to get into the inner circle.
So I want to take a question of potential confusion and just hit it head on. What about the Splunk app for infrastructure? What about the infrastructure word used in some other similar apps and add-ons, and we have operating system, focused things? Help us kind of. What is the vision of the company here?
The vision of the company. Well, did you have one of the forward-looking statement slides available? Legal. There's definitely a lot more to come there. I recognize that having infrastructure in so many names of our products can get confusing, but what we're doing, we built app for infrastructure in a world where we had not yet acquired SignalFX. SignalFX, now, part of the Splunk family in every way, including naming, is really an incredible monitoring platform. Real-time streaming metrics is just, a huge differentiator market. And so really migrating a lot of our metrics workloads for customers that are looking for a cloud-native solution to Splunk infrastructure monitoring, to Splunk APM is really going to be hugely beneficial for those customers. We still have the Splunk app for infrastructure available to customers to bring metrics through metrics TAs into or through the curated data onboarding flows that are within the Splunk app for infrastructure for AWS, Windows servers, as well as Linux and Unix. But I think in the future, you'll see more and more integrations with Splunk infrastructure monitoring and Splunk Core and ITSI to show truly how we can leverage those differentiated capabilities of both platforms and then make them look and feel similar in design system, in workflows. So I think just from a product perspective, we want to more tightly integrate as much as possible in workflows that make sense to our customers.
And I imagine this is probably one of the harder things to do, which is to say, we've got a lot of ideas, a lot of innovation, a couple of different platforms and ways to accomplish things, and you have to make it all fit. And it's not a simple thing to do. It's going to take time.
Yeah, it'll take time. I mean, we only acquired Signal, I believe, right before last conf20. And the fact that we've been able to integrate so quickly, just in a year's time is really amazing. I mean, we integrated Omniscient and SignalFX APM products earlier this year, and they had only, I think, within 6 months maybe. And the add-on and all of the roadmap items that I can't really talk about yet are just really exciting across both platforms. Just what the new world will look like at next conf is just really exciting. And but yes, of course, it takes time, but we're doing it at a pace that I'm really proud of, I have to say.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, a year though in the tech world, it's like dog years. It's like 7 years. I mean, come on. Just joking aside, I think I found the solution for SAP and the content packs, and so I put the links in the chat there as well. So anyone watching the replay looking to get the hookup, Kara and Martin will keep us honest if those are the wrong links or not.
Let's switch.
I got some comments. A little bit. Maybe I can address. I think the bearded Fox DM just asked, what does it look like going from Splunk Infrastructure Essentials? It's actually called Splunk IT Essentials, just in case you're looking for it online. Upgrading to ITSI, still funding the budget. So, Splunk IT Essentials is focused on core use cases. So anything you can do core, we're trying to curate that for you. But we are actually we are working on how to integrate IT Essentials into ITS. We are looking to more closely integrate also IT Essentials to ITSI so that that upgrade experience feels seamless, feels natural. So there's more to come there for sure. But think of Essentials as like another app that you can use on core today. And then ITSI would be that.
Well, maybe we should have Martin talk about that. I mean, I know he's had a lot of hands-on experience with it. Martin, you kind of want to, why would somebody start to think about ITSI?
Well, ITSI is awesome from a real-time monitoring perspective, right? So let's say you onboard the data, you get the data in, you use the IT Essentials component to write some basic searches and some dashboards. A lot of this is on demand, right? And you can obviously put alerts around that. But if you really want to see historical trends, if you really want to pull in the data correlated across different data sources and things like those, then ITSI is the next logical step up. So at that point in time, you get the data, you pull it in, you store the metadata in summary indexes. You always have the raw data available, but the representation, everything is much, much quicker. Also, the learning curve from building out custom dashboards versus, doing it through glass tables. There's a lot of benefits, from that perspective. Or used to be, if you're not familiar with the new, glass table framework yet. So those are all, logical steps why you would do that. The other area that's, really advanced on the ITSI side, and we touched on this a little bit, was the whole machine learning aspect. So there's anomaly detection that's trending. There's anomaly detection that's cohesive. So if I have one server behaving badly in a group of 5 servers, it identifies that automatically. If all 5 servers after a code push work differently, I'm able to identify that. I have adaptive thresholding, right? You have similar capabilities integrating, for example, IT Essentials with the machine learning toolkit, but that's much more work and much more heavy lifting for the administrators to get to similar outcomes.
One server behaving badly. That's the name of Martin's first album.
Oh my God, Martin, I'd love to hear you sing. That would be incredible.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's in the cards.
Well, good thing we've got a platform for him to do it. Martin, take us away.
Take us away.
Hold on, I've got some cymbals. And a kazoo.
A kazoo.
Did anybody watch
the
Dungeons and Data Masters stream with Felicia Day?
Oh, I love Felicia Day.
I know, she's awesome. You missed it.
You know what she was also on was, do you guys watch Nailed It?
Yes.
That's like the best baking show on earth. And she was a guest judge.
I don't think I saw that one, which surprises me because we watched that one. That's one of the shows that I sometimes watch with the little kids.
It's so good. Love it.
Good it's one of those bad good things to me. It's horrible. You're watching a train wreck of people who cannot bake at all.
Nicole Byer is one of my favorite comedians, and she's just fantastic and has an incredible podcast for those of you who are
did not know that
interested.
Yeah,
I
did not know that.
So we're on topic.
On that note. All right. So
what would you like to talk about, Burge?
I could ask you another hard question if you want, Kara. For it?
Why do I get all the hard questions?
Because Martin is already wiser.
Oh.
And it won't be.
All right.
We could do game show style. Ask it to both and see who answers first.
Hal, what's your other question? I'll see if I can answer.
I have 2 places to put metrics. That's where do I put my metrics?
I'm going to go back to my previous answer. Splunk Infrastructure Monitoring is a SaaS platform. It's only deployed in cloud, right? Mm-hmm. So I think most companies are on this cloud journey. They are adopting cloud more and more. SaaS is becoming ubiquitous. I think maybe 5 years ago, maybe there was some hesitation to adopt SaaS platforms at scale, especially in highly regulated industries, but I don't think that's the case anymore. But for any, there are some differentiating capabilities from, Splunk infrastructure monitoring from Splunk APM that I think are worthy of adopting over putting metrics in Splunk Core. I do. I think that is the future. That is where we'll have a unified metrics platform to take advantage of. Of course, we still, but we can also bring those metrics from those platforms into Splunk Core and ITSI to unify those metrics and events with all of these other types of data formats, with all your logs, with all and also there are things that Splunk ingests that are not yet covered, although Splunk infrastructure monitoring does cover a lot of on-prem and cloud data sources, but there are certain things that you might want to correlate that data or search that data with, that you've already put into Splunk. So I'd say the future is really in Splunk infrastructure monitoring, in Splunk APM for metrics. We still have a metric store to accommodate the breadth of our customers. I mean, observability.
Rip that feature out of the core product. I mean,
no, our observability, the observability super session, talked a little bit about, where they're going, but it really showed one of the most powerful things I think is the types of customers where you have customers that are really on premises still, managing data centers to customers that there's one customer of ours that is 95% serverless in Latin America. And that company I think has been around for 3 years. So there's such a wide array of customer environments that we support. And so we want to enable those customers to be successful where they are, meeting our customers where they are. But the future and the differentiated capabilities that are specifically designed for metrics monitoring are really going to be in that cloud native platform.
I just want to thank you for pronouncing it on premises.
Oh, yes. A premise is like a topic, not a way to deploy.
So I should
infrastructure.
So I should say that we're off premise right now.
We because of how, not because of me this time. I can bring up Nicole Byler again if you want me to, Birch. I'm happy to.
Let's go back to Felicia day work versus Felicia night work. Anyway, we are coming up on our time here. I always like to see. I'm pretty sure I saw at least one of your names in some sessions this week, these 2 days. And the cool thing is we don't really have to worry about if you already did your session because we can catch the replay immediately. So anything that you'd like to promote and how it may or may not relate to the things we talked about. Martin, you go first. I wanted to make sure there was a nice pregnant pause. Dead air is apparently really good for broadcasts.
Really good.
I figured. So, well, the session that I would like to promote is the SAP session, because it does give a good introduction into how other customers are monitoring SAP, but also a little bit more value, like what business processes are they monitoring. So if you search for Ram Golla, Golla, or Warwick Chai, Chai, basically the session will pop up, and it's a really good introduction if you do want to monitor your SAP environments.
All right, that's awesome.
I was in the super session for IT Ops, and that happened this morning. And then I did an IT Essentials super session with Raul Mehta on my team, which was great. So definitely check it out, or in the App Showcase for a demo. I was also in a session with Z Diao, who is my counterpart on the Splunk infrastructure monitoring side, where we talk about that integration. And there's 2 sessions around that. So check out Signal Effects and Splunk Better Together for more of the ITSI Splunk core side of it. And then you can check out Splunk or Stop, Investigate, and Listen. Splunk is back, brand new edition for.
See, we got some singing.
There's a little bit. Actually, I do a little like Ice Ice Baby intro. So you can check that out. Those are 2 sessions that I'd love to promote. And also there's a logs troubleshooting session that Subu, S-U-B-U, if you search for his name, did I think today as well that is really awesome.
Excellent.
Very
So
cool.
with that, we need to say goodbye to our guest, but we want to tell people don't go far. There's a lot more to come on this stream. Let's see. We are personally, Birch and I, we're going to be back with you at, what is that, hour and 15 or so. We'll be with Ben Derringer and Sarah Mills. They help run a little bit of this show called Conf. That'll be fun.
And that's after
Gwen
Stefani
opens
opens for us. Yeah.
So this will be after Gwen opens for us. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
What else is going on?
Is the Dungeons and Dragons as well as the Bots awards on this
so
on this channel?
There's a lot happening in the stream tonight, so don't go far.
Same bat time. Actually, different bat time, same bat
Different
channel.
Right. Thank you, Kara. Thank you, Martin. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.